Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a movie from 1985. That movie is The Goonies. Yes, guys, similar to Labyrinth, this is another movie from the 1980s that I never had a chance to watch, but apparently damn near every other child of the 1980s has seen. I have no clue if this thing is going to be any good. I do know that it has been referenced countless times on tons of various TV shows as well as on many other movies. Yet I've never had the opportunity or the chance to really sit down and just watch the film itself. Now, I do know a lot of people love this movie, but I have also heard a couple of people tell me that this movie's a little bit lacking. I've even had a few people tell me that this movie sucks. So frankly, this thing, guys, could swing in any fucking direction right now. I have no idea if this movie is going to be any good. I am kind of hoping that it's going to be at least watchable. But the only way I'm going to find out if it's any good is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out The Goonies. So instead of just walking down that flight of about 5 or 6 steps and just opening the gate, they have some kind of a stupid-ass like device that takes at least 4 times as long to open. Okay, I totally understand that these are just a bunch of kids, but even honestly for kids, that is fucking stupid, guys. Okay, guys, I honestly don't mean to be a stickler here, but so they just found this old, map, which is supposed to be from like the 1700s or the 1600s, and it's supposed to look like old parchment. Then why does it look like laminated plastic? I totally understand, guys, that is like the most petty fucking thing I could ever bring up in one of these videos. But goddammit, it doesn't look like parchment. It actually looks like fucking plastic. It looks really weird. Okay, I totally understand that our main characters are kids, but have they never heard the phrase treasure in their entire life? I am really sorry, guys, to break this to you, but to have all of them refer to everything which they're looking for constantly as rich stuff just sounds incredibly stupid to me. Because even guys, when I was as old as most of these characters were, even I knew what the fuck treasure was. I'm really sorry, guys. It was just sort of bothering me a little. So Chunk sat there for about 20 seconds describing the criminal family he just fucking ran from, not even knowing that one of them was driving the fucking Jeep that he stopped. How dumb is this fucking kid? Good God. No, guys, I seriously, guys, cannot even play it up honestly, guys, to this thing being a children's film. That was fucking stupid. Okay, guys, well, seeing fucking, Sloth's ears kind of sort of wiggle like that is just fucking creepy as shit, man. Okay, I would really like to know exactly where in the fuck Data was hiding that boxing glove on his spring on his person. His clothing, honestly, is not bulky enough to hide, something, like that, and honestly, guys, as a fucking joke, it actually came off a little bit weak, you know what I mean? Okay, this is probably a really stupid question, but where the hell did Sloth and Chunk get the really tiny pirate hats and the little plastic daggers? Because they just showed up out of fucking nowhere, and they suddenly have these hats and daggers that I'm really curious, guys. Seeing as now they were not in in the ship, and the ship didn't have little fucking, like novelty pirate hats and plastic, daggers. Where the fuck did they get these? I'm kind of curious now. Well, guys, that was the Goonies. Let me shut that off. Okay. First of all, I would like to say that this movie is probably not something that a person should watch for the first time at the age of 31. Uh, Now, with that said, I also am going to say that in no way am I going to say that this is a bad movie. It's just, I can totally say, though, that it hasn't aged very well. In fact, I can say this film has aged very poorly. But again, that, though, is more of a personal preference. And I will say that had I honestly have first seen this movie at the age of 6 or 7, or, well, let's see, the movie came out in 1985, I would have been 3. Had I honestly have seen this thing at the age of 3, I'd probably have fucking loved it. And I'd probably be able to watch it today. Well, it obviously wouldn't be for reaction and review, but I would be able to watch it today and still love it and be able to write off every single flaw the film has to pure nostalgic charm. However, since I don't have that buffer zone of watching it as a child, I am going into this thing, and unfortunately every single fault and flaw just comes out and just shines. Which is why the movie was certainly good, and the movie was certainly entertaining, but I don't really see myself giving it a second viewing. I really guess that I should try to explain why. I'm going to start with the writing, because the writing, shockingly, guys, the writing is this film's strongest and weakest feature at the same time. It's very odd, because we have a story that is incredible. It is a fantastic adventure story. The problem comes from our characters, because guys, I am really sorry, but I am a huge stickler for character depth, and the very fact that we can sum up every single one of the Goonies with fucking barely even a sentence, and have basically nailed everything about those characters, that's kind of sad. Example, we have one character who is Asian. That's it. Nothing else. He basically has a goofy accent and a boner for gadgets. So he is pretty much about as stereotypically Asian as we will ever get. We have another character who's fat. So that means that every single time that he opens his mouth, he has to either be talking about food, or he has to be opening his mouth in order to stuff food in. And when he's unable to do both of those, he is going to knock over everything, because naturally all fat people are klutzy as shit. Apparently that is sort of the message which Goonies was trying to give out. We have one character who has fucking asthma, and that's it. That is his only bit of character depth, is that he has asthma. And they have to punctuate this by showing him taking hits off of his fucking asthma inhaler at least 35 times over the course of the film. Nobody has asthma, which is that bad. I am sorry. And even honestly, guys, for a family film, that was major over kill. We have one character whose sole fucking character trait is that he is a smartass. That's it. So yeah, guys, we have here an awesome story, and the story is slightly hobbled by the fact that our characters are all basically about as shallow as a fucking piss puddle. Now, with that said, again, if you honestly are a child and you are watching this, you are not going to notice the fact that our characters are just fucking shallow and cliche and nothing else. So basically, this thing here is going to be great if you want to show it to kids. However, though, if you are, my age and you're watching it for the first time, that is probably going to bother you a little bit, because it certainly bothered me. Of course, I also care about character development and fucking character depth, so it's just so it really is one of my huge sticking, points. And our villains are some of the most ineffective and non-threatening villains I've ever seen in a film, which is saying a lot because I have seen Home Alone, and last year I stumbled through Home Alone 4, and I really thought that villains could not get any, less worthless or threatening, and then I saw the fucking Fratellis, and well, yeah, they really were not good villains. However, though, again, the story here is awesome. So we honestly have at least something good. You just have to sort of look, you really have to look past the shallow characters in order to see the awesome story behind them. Now, acting though the acting here is incredibly strong. And I'm talking from the entire cast. Except for the kid who played Chunk. That kid had no clue what the fuck he was doing on fucking camera. He really seemed to stumble through every single one of his lines. And mind you guys, there was a character who had to put on an absolutely offensive Japanese accent, and he put on a better showing than the kid who played Chunk. But then again, that also is because Chunk was given the absolute worst fucking dialogue in the entire film, because every single line of dialogue was talking about pizza, Twinkies, or ice cream, and when he wasn't doing that, he was knocking over shit and breaking everything in sight. So really, when you are saddled with the worst character in the entire film, naturally, it's probably going to be a little bit difficult to attempt to take that dialogue and turn it into something decent. So... but still, though, that kid wasn't even fucking trying. That actually is kind of the sad part. And everybody else, though, in this film turns in a stellar showing. And thank fuck that Chunk is barely in this, because, because honestly, if he actually were in this movie any fucking longer, it would probably have damaged the film overall. But otherwise, guys, yes, acting here is awesome. Camera work is awesome. Special effects, there really, guys, is not a whole lot in terms of special effects. I can, though, talk about makeup effects, and when we talk about makeup effects, we are talking about Sloth. And Sloth looks amazing here. Now, I actually have seen still shots of Sloth's face before I went into this, so I kind of sort of knew what he looked like. He looks even cooler when we actually get to see the actor in motion, and I was even more I was even more surprised to notice that his ears like wiggle kind of. And the first time I saw it, it was kind of creepy, and it then kind of sort of became charming as the film goes on. So yeah, guys, makeup effects here, what very, very few are here, are awesome. Special effects here, again, also what very few are here, which the only one I can really think of is when they went and they matted in the pirate ship as it was sailing off. Looked really cool. So yeah, guys, special effects here are really good. Lighting here is good, and camera work here is good. However, though, we also are talking about a movie which was fucking directed by Richard, Donner. And Donner is one of those guys who, he honestly is not happy if your camera and your lighting are shit. He honestly will then go back and do it, again. So I honestly would have been shocked if lighting and camera had sucked. Honest to God, soundtrack. There really, guys, is not much of a soundtrack here. We have the Goonies song, which was done by Cindy fucking Lauper, and well, I honestly have never been a huge fan of Lauper, so I honestly cannot comment on it much. It seriously is one of her weaker songs on top of it, but honestly, though, the song still isn't terrible. It's just not really a song that I honestly would find myself listening to again and again. And what few other songs pop up on here in terms of soundtrack are there, and they are functional, but again, none of them are really memorable. And the score here works out very, very well. Really, guys, everything here kind of shines except for how the characters were written. And that, guys, can oftentimes be a huge detriment to movies. However, though, here, they honestly are able to take their cliche, shallow characters and still make it kind of work. So guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Goonies? Mostly. And when I say mostly, I really have to stress this. If you have never seen this movie before, and if you have kids, go right ahead and watch it, and go ahead and watch it with your kids. Your kids are going to love it. I honestly am not able to guarantee that you are going to love it, but I can certainly tell you that this is the perfect movie to show to children. This movie is really good on that end. However, if you don't have kids and if you've never seen this, I do have to warn you, the characters are incredibly shallow, and that may possibly hinder, this movie for you. That seriously, guys, is pretty much like the best I can give you. It is certainly good for certainly good for what it is, and its flaws could very, very easily cripple it for you, because also all writing also has a couple of small little fucking like potholes in there, but most of that ties into like logic issues and shit like that. And once more, kids honestly are not going to care. And if you honestly are getting freaking like swept, if you're getting like swept into the story, then honestly you probably will not have a problem with those issues either. Now, the Goonies came off of the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is a YouTuber by the name of TRC2 Rock On. Please, guys, head over to his YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/user/TRC2 Rock On. And dude, thank you. I seriously was always wondering. I was always curious if this movie was going to be any good, and it is certainly good, but it honestly is not good enough to honestly warrant me going back and watching it a second time. I mean, it was certainly worth checking out once, but not really sure if I'm going to do it again. Once more, guys, that is youtube.com/user/TRC2 Rock On. Wow. Guys, I honestly am kind of shocked, because I genuinely thought that this movie was really going to either sway me one way or the other. I genuinely thought I was going to be completely fucking sold on it, or I was going to totally hate it, and instead it winds up being, it seriously winds up being good, but not fucking great. And that normally, guys, is something which kind of sort of leaves me feeling a little bit iffy whenever I happen to run into movies which, wind up like that. But anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.